2024. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Carter, absent, excuse. Councilmember Oliva,
Present.
Councilmember Garcia,
Present.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Present.
Mayor Marroquin.
Present. And can I get Councilmember Garcia to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing, Councilmember.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to please watch over us, to make us appreciative of our blessings. Bless us with wisdom, with safety, and with love. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Madam City Clerk, Madam City Attorney, any reports on closed session?
No, Madam Mayor, there's no report on closed session. However, if you could please pull item 9 from consent and place it as the first item under new business. Thank you.
Yes, sure will. Okay. And excuse me for just a second. It's just things on the agenda have changed. Excuse me. Is this a new disclaimer? Is this the new disclaimer?
Yes, that's the whole thing.
In the box?
It's the whole thing, it's the whole thing.
Should we move up Abraham's item or does she know?
Thank you for your patience. So now we move on to public comments. And first, I'd like to read the statement to the community. The City Council welcomes your input. At this time, members of the public may address the City Council on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no action will be taken on any issue brought forth under public comments. We ask that you please complete a blue speaker slip and submit it to the City Clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Although you are not required to identify yourself, this information on the speaker slip assists the mayor that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized and also assists the City Clerk in preparing the City Council meeting minutes. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. Any information provided on the speaker slip is voluntary and will be public record. Madam City Clerk, any requests for public comment? Either in chambers or remotely?
None.
None. Okay, thank you. So now we move on to presentations and announcements. So first, we have a proclamation, National Community Planning Month, which occurs in October 2024. And Mr. Angel Hernandez, our Community Development Director. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity to declare October Community Planning Month. I also want to thank my staff. A lot of times, they're like the first people that people interact with at the city if they want to do whatever type of project, open up a business. And just want to thank you. One thing I could really count on them is to be provide great customer service and make that interaction a positive one. A lot of times, this might be the first time people interact with someone from the government, and it's very important to make a positive impression, and also kind of talk them through some of these like admittedly complicated issues and things like that. So I just want to thank them and thank you.
Are any of your
Yes, they're all
colleagues here?
Yeah, you want to come up? I mean, come up.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would then like to present to all of you for a proclamation for National Community Planning Month, which occurs in October 2024. Whereas planners work to improve the well-being of all people living in our community by taking a comprehensive perspective. This approach leads to safer, resilient, more equitable, and more prosperous communities. And whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, and counties, planners help navigate this change with data-driven insights and expertise that provide better choices for how people work and live. And whereas planning is the process of envisioning, mapping, or otherwise conceiving how a community will look, grow, and help shape the community around us. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of El Centro. It aims to create a safe and livable community. And whereas the American Planning Association highlights the significant impacts planning has on growing communities, planners are uniquely positioned to identify solutions to communities with difficult housing, transportation, and land use questions. And whereas the mayor and council members recognize and appreciate that the many valuable contributions made by El Centro residents as well as the planning staff that dedicate countless hours and their continued commitment to public service to the El Centro community. Now, therefore, I, Sylvia Marroquin, Mayor of the City of El Centro, State of California, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as National Community Planning Month in the City of El Centro. All righty. So. Ladies, would you like to come up and join Mr. Hernandez? Is Emilio coming out? There he is. I'm surprised Joselito's in here this evening. The paparazzi. Yeah. All righty, guys. Are we?
Okay. Yeah. Here we go. And thank you.
Can't even hear it. Thank you.
Felicidades.
Well, Mr. Hernandez, now you have a double
Yes.
a double proclamation this month. Okay, so now we will move on to item number 2, a proclamation for Code Enforcement Officer Appreciation Week, which occurs the week of October the 7th through the 11th of 2024. So, Mr. Hernandez, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, just a quick message. Just, thank you for also entertaining us with this proclamation, and also want to give this opportunity to thank Frank Soto, the building official, and also Assistant Community Development Director, and Ana Garcia, our Code Enforcement Officer. You know, they've been making a lot of progress on. One thing I want to highlight is the work on the vacant property registration ordinance. That's a lot of work, and we always find new properties to register and to kind of have an interaction with the property owners, and it has done results about. You know, sometimes we see just last week was an encampment, and we realized that wasn't registered, and we contacted the property owner and it was kind of dealt with right away. So I just want to thank them for their efforts, all their work, and also thank the council too for their support.
So I see Frank and Anna in the audience. Would you like to come up and join Mr. Hernandez?
They picked the 2 seats further away, thinking they could escape.
Hello, you two. So I would then like to present the City of El Centro Proclamation for Code Enforcement Officer Appreciation Week, October the 7th through the 11th, 2024. Whereas code enforcement officers provide for the safety, health, and welfare of the residents of El Centro through the enforcement of local, state, and federal laws and ordinances with various issues of public safety, building, zoning, housing, property nuisance, and environment. And whereas code enforcement officers are responsible for improving neighborhoods and the quality of lives of the residents of El Centro. They attempt to provide quality customer service to the public for the betterment of the community. And whereas code enforcement officers have challenging and demanding roles, too many times their efforts go unnoticed, even after code compliance has been accomplished due to their efforts and expertise. And whereas code enforcement officers are dedicated, well-trained, and highly responsible professionals, they prevent neighborhood deterioration, enhance communities, and preserve property through zoning and nuisance laws. And whereas code enforcement officers have a highly visible role in the community they serve and regularly interact with the residents and business owners, as well as federal, state, county, and local officials. And whereas the mayor and council members observe and encourage citizens to join this council in expressing their appreciation for the dedication and outstanding service provided by the code enforcement professional staff who serve the city of El Centro. Now, therefore, I, Sylvia Marroquin, Mayor of the City of El Centro, State of California, do hereby proclaim October the 7th through the 11th, 2024 as Code Enforcement Officer Appreciation Week in the City of El Centro. All righty. Oh, here he comes. Yes, he is.
Oh, here we go. And thank you.
Thank you.
Anna. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. So now we move on to a presentation by Sabrina Barber, Assistant Manager, Imperial Irrigation District, regarding Public Power Week with double incentive energy efficiency rate rebate promotions.
Oh, that was a tongue twister.
I know, that
Good
was, that was
job.
like, that was a mouthful.
We like our tongue twisters. Good evening, Mayor Marquin, city council members, members of the public, and city representatives. Thank you for your time this evening. Imperial Irrigation District, on October 1st, our board took action in order to recognize Public Power Week. And we're very proud of being our public provider of both electric service and also wastewater, or no, excuse me, wastewater, raw water provider. But specific to the double incentive program, in addition to the resolution that the board adopted, they also authorized the double rebate promotion to provide customers with a mechanism to help offset increased costs so that they could make investments in energy efficiency measures. IID has a number of energy efficiency programs that make up our portfolio. And the particular promotion that we are running right now runs through October 1st through the entire month. So it's customers who are interested in applying for a rebate can do so and obtain the double rebate through the entire duration of the month. Our Public Power Week is actually October 6th through October 12th. But in order to allow customers more time to take advantage of the promotion, we did extend it for the entire month. So the energy rewards rebate, essentially what that program is it's called a prescriptive rebate, so that customers who purchase Energy Star energy efficient measures and appliances can apply through the rebate, and they apply through IID's automated portal and can obtain rebates on refrigerators, on room air conditioners. We have our whole list of different appliances that qualify. The most popular, of course, are our refrigerators, also our air conditioners, and clothes washers tend to kind of run our top three. But there's also incentives available for windows, for pool pumps, and also our evaporative coolers, and then some attic insulations. So here's a list of our current measure, what the current price is, a rebate that's offered for each of the measures, and then the double amount. So the refrigerators outside of the promotion would be $75 per unit, and through the month of October, so long as you apply, you would receive $150 per unit. And so here's the list of all the different measures that we offer rebates for, and then the promotions. There is one item that is not included. On the first, you'll see that there, oops, see if I can go back. No, sorry. Well, there's a measure that is thank you, that is a heating element, gas to electric conversion. Although that one is included in our regular list of rebates, it does not qualify for the double incentive promotion. So just wanted to point that one out there. Here's information on our actual air conditioning, which is the most popular that we tend to see and would be the biggest energy savings, as our refrigeration or HVAC load is the highest consumer of electricity in our household bills. So there's 3 different tier levels. They range from $125 to $300 a ton. So depending on the type of unit that you have, you can receive up to $600 per ton. The installation itself must be performed by a contractor that is on IID's participating contractor list. The reason that we do that is so that we can ensure that there are proper licensing and insurance requirements. So we have detailed information related to the rebate programs, not just the energy rewards, but all our rebate programs on our website at iid.com/rebates. And I wanted to also mention, although it's outside of our double promotion that we're currently offering, we do have a number of programs that are offered through our public benefits. That's essentially a 2.85% that is charged on all customers' bills. That's a non-bypassable charge, and we are required to collect that, but it is held in a restricted fund so that we can utilize and return those to customers in the forms of programs and services. So we have income-based programs that's known as our REAP, eGreen, and EAP. So those help offset the cost. The REAP program is very, very popular. Customers, depending on their age, can qualify for between 25 to 30% discount on their bills. All customers that are participating in the REAP automatically get enrolled in our eGreen, where they get another about $5 discount, or it's a credit that's generated through a PPA that we have with Citizens Energy related to a community type solar. And then we also have an emergency energy assistance program that allows pledges for customers that are facing potential disconnect. We also offer for customers a medical program. If there's any customers that are on life-sustaining equipment, then they can qualify for our MEOP program, and that one is not income-based. So anyone that does have medical equipment could apply and qualify. And then lastly, in addition to our energy rewards, we do have a suite of energy efficiency portfolios, including our residential weatherization program, our Recharge EV charger program. That our residential weatherization program will offer up to $1,000 of energy efficiency measures. Those are direct installed for customers. That's completely free of charge. If the participant is also enrolled in a REAP program, there's a higher incentive of up to $1,500. And then the Recharge is our electric vehicle charger program that will pay up to $500 for the installation and the equipment of an electric vehicle charger. And then we also have a Green Grants program, which is for not-for-profit organizations, including municipalities. And lastly, our Customs Energy Solutions program, which is our non-residential. That's just to help offset the cost of energy efficiency measures related to lighting, air conditioning load, and process loads. So here, just to provide contact information for each of our different areas. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to come out and share information on our programs. And anytime you might have events or things where we can come and collaborate, we are more than happy to do that and extend the invitation to you as well. So low income and medical programs are, you can go through William James, and power programs can come through me. And then of course, anyone through our public affairs and outreach will be Susie Carrillo. So thank you very much for your time. Happy to answer any questions.
Madam Mayor, I
Yes.
do. Ms. Barber, I know that, I mean, these are amazing opportunities that are being afforded to our residents. But many times they just don't know how to access those services, whether we're looking at a senior program that might have some difficulty with technology. Is there an opportunity for individuals to come into the office, come into one of your main offices and receive some type of technical support?
There certainly is, especially for our rate assistance program. They are welcome to go into any of our division offices, the payment offices, and they can assist with enrolling in those programs. Our energy efficiency programs, those are all through our energy administration building. So they can visit us at the Energy Admin, 1653 West Main Street, and we'll be happy to assist them. We do have staff there that can help fill out forms, answer questions. That is available.
And I think that's what we've heard throughout our community is there's definitely difficulty in the summer when we're paying high energy bills. So very clear and important information to the public, just to reiterate the importance of the 3 or 4 categories that you've shared with us, whether it's a rebate program or an opportunity to have a reduction in your cost in your electricity. So whatever we can do to be good stewards and or ambassadors of information, we would be happy to promote that information, maybe through our city manager and maybe through our website or something that directly links the community to these types of programs. Is that all right with you, Madam Mayor?
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine.
Excellent suggestions, and we will definitely take you up on that opportunity. So we will reach out to the city manager directly to coordinate that effort.
Do you have any questions?
I just wanted to know, like, this was great. I will tell you that I was not fully aware of the double rebate portion of it. I hope our residents take advantage of it and plan ahead. I was already looking for attic fans.
Okay,
Because,
perfect.
it may not be necessary for the remaining months, but certainly for next year, right? As installing it is probably better in the upcoming months in order to be ready for next summer, right? But it's that way as it hits me personally. My question is, I heard you say that these double rebates is for this month.
Right.
Does IID plan to have this special, this promo some other time next year as well?
There is a great likelihood. Frankly, they are looking at our incentive levels currently to see what we might be able to do to modify existing programs in the portfolio. We've had a list of programs that have been pretty static for the last several years. So looking to see what we can do to enhance those and potentially increase rebate levels, and definitely anticipate having another similar double campaign, more than likely through October. That is some of the feedback that we did receive this time, was just being able to give customers a little bit more notice so that they could plan accordingly, since some of these are large purchases. So we are definitely taking that back. And anytime we run these sort of campaigns, we do a debrief. So identify things we did well, things that we could do better. And so we're taking that feedback back as well.
It's still appreciative, but whether it's the base rebate or the promo, if it does happen again in the future, along with even just this time, going back to my colleagues' comments, we certainly would like to make sure our residents are aware, so that, as you mentioned, if they do plan to purchase a refrigerator, refrigerators are now, what, $2,000, $2,500? And so for some families, they might need to start planning to save up. So if they know that next June, for example, then they can start planning for that expense, right? And so I just ask, however we could be helpful to let our residents better know that it's coming, we'd like to be there to help.
We appreciate the help getting the word out.
Mr. Garcia, do you have questions or comments from Ms. Barber? No? Alrighty.
Thank you. I
Ms. Barber,
appreciate your
thank you so
time.
much. Okay, colleagues, so now we move on to our consent agenda, but as noted by our city attorney, we are moving item number 9 down to new business, and it will be then item number 12A. Okay, so
So move to accept the consent agenda.
we're doing voice votes. Okay.
Second.
Alrighty. Alrighty.
Okay, Councilmember Carter, absent. Councilmember Oliva,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
The motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Okay, and another change that we're going to make on the agenda, we are moving item number 20 up to before we go into the public hearings. So at this time, I would like to call Mr. Abraham Campos, our Public Works Director and City Engineer.
Hello, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. You pardon me a minute to open up the presentation.
City Clerk. Are you able to show the presentations on our screens or?
Yes, as
Yeah,
soon as
okay.
he brings it up.
All right, so this time's gonna be a little bit different. It's not a PowerPoint. So hopefully I can figure out this new system. So good evening. We're going high tech today, and instead of doing a PowerPoint presentation, we're doing an ArcGIS story map prepared by our infrastructure management coordinator, Gabriel Martinez. And so thank you, Gabe, for this work. So my report today is really to highlight some of the improvements and some of the investments we've done in the community in public works through various funding sources that are having an impact on our community. So first off, we'll go through a list of projects to give you an idea of where we're at. So in this map that you have in front of you, you'll see different dots, and I'll be going through the different dots here in different locations around the city to highlight some of the projects that we have been doing here in the city of Centro. I don't have the colors and the playgrounds as Adriana had last week, so we're gonna make it interactive here. So for commercial avenue improvements, this work, we can go here. It takes us to the project limits. So we did an overlay and we have the section of Commercial Avenue between 3rd and Dogwood. There's several industrial users here. It's not really seen by the public, but those folks that are in this area have greatly benefited from the added work and added improvements in this area. This was a project of $700,000, and you can see some pictures here that were taken during construction, and really what we end up doing here at Public Works and coordinating and improving our streets. Going to the next project here, we have the Even Hughes Highway Rehab Project. This is a project that many of us travel a lot, either going here to Holtville or trying to access 111. This project not only paved Even Hughes, but it was in coordination with the County of Imperial, where we paved a portion up to our project limits on the right of the screen, and the county participated and carried it over from that point to the 111, not only improving traffic for us, but also for public transportation, which is this route. There's some really cool features here on the presentation where we can see some of the work as it was being done. So the contractor was able to provide some drone footage during the construction. A lot of this work happened overnight. Many folks were not impacted. This at this point was very early as they were getting done, in probably around 7 a.m. or something like that. But most of this work actually happened at night, so the public was not severely impacted by the construction. We'll let this run really quick. This is a short video. So some more pictures of this area. And so you can see that before of the street versus the after.
Nice. Wow, it looks
So-
great.
Yeah.
So it's what a difference it makes for that area,
Oh.
right? Coming
See
to
a
a city
little
of
bit of a
Centro.
difference.
How many thousands of dollars? Yay.
That was
That's
2.2
it.
million.
It
Well
was at the
invested.
point you couldn't even see the lines through there, especially
Correct.
traveling through there at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was to a point where we were painting the lines, and they was just not lasting because they were
Mhm.
just coming out. The asphalt wasn't in such poor shape.
Mm-hmm.
Imperial Avenue, obviously, we've seen this here. So we can start talking about Imperial Avenue. Here's a video that Emilio helped us out with earlier this year. We've seen this video before on Imperial Avenue extension. And a lot of construction. It's open. If you've traveled recently, you'll notice that the signal lights at Imperial and Wake are finally back turned on.
They are?
They are, as of last
Great.
Friday.
Wow.
So the signals are up. And we're at this point basically complete with phase 1 and phase 2 of Imperial Avenue extension, which takes us all the way to Dannenberg. Some construction photos as well of this area. And already the fruits of this work are paying. We're getting a lot of interest from development in this area. And so that's just a testament of the vision here of the city and the city council of extending the city in this direction. Thank you for your support on that. The next step for us is Imperial Avenue Phase 3, and which is showing you here is just the extension. Imperial Avenue 1 and 2 are up to the yellow, and 3 takes the 3 actually is the yellow, and that's is behind the wastewater treatment. I'm sorry, the water treatment plant here for the city of Central, and it connects. Once that's completed, it will connect this whole Buena Vista subdivision with access to the freeway. That's the Phase 3 portion. Now, on the Jacaranda Gardens, this is a project that we've been working in coordination here with Chelsea and, of course, Adriana and the community services team, as well as community development. Everybody has really had a piece of this. Some of the work that's included here is not only the work that is being immediately done that you've seen, but the grant also actually secured another 2.8 million or so for outside improvements. So not only will the Jacaranda improve the apartments and the affordability, but it will add bike lanes along Waterman, Bradshaw, bike markings along the streets getting to it, as well as Via. So all these areas in blue are improved. And a big improvement in our circulation that it also supports is the connection of 12th Street. So 12th Street right now is dissected or cut here between Oleander and Pico. That will be connected, and it would allow more travel to and access to that neighborhood and for the public as well. So that's
Nice.
future to come. So here's Waterman Avenue. We're talking about this is the mid-block crossing. It's still missing the rapid flashing beacons, something that you see in front of DMV that will be in that location. Some project pictures. So it's a collaborative effort. It's just not only the apartments, but all the surrounding improvements that will come from it. Here are some of the improvements, for example, that will come from still related to the Jacaranda. As I was mentioning here on Brash Avenue, we're getting bike lanes. Obviously, we want to encourage that and have this be a more multimodal use. Jacaranda Gardens not only includes that as part of the residence, but it's close to transit. It has those bike facilities and networks that are being created, as well as median items that will help beautify this area. So we discussed as part of this project as well, North 12th Street, but just to show you what it is right now, is between Oleander and Pico. So you would get full improvements of curb gutter, sidewalks, roadway, connecting this area and improving traffic circulation. Just recently, there's a soft opening so far on Maverick gas station, but this corner and working with this contractor will really transform this area of town. Even as it is right now, not fully done, you can already see the transformation. This intersection is completely different. Dogwood has been widened. Ross Avenue will be widened as well. That's still ongoing. And once this is done, we're hoping this is a catalyst for this area to continue and growing in this area. We actually have another project that we're working on. We're calling an alignment study on Dogwood to help development in the future be ready. And we have the plans and the vision of Dogwood between Ross and the freeways on what that will look like. So when the developer is ready to come south of Maverick, we're ready to go and tell them this is what we need, and this is it just helps our engineering and these properties develop much better. Additional pictures here. Of course, the new gem coming to the city of El Centro here with PD is the new police station. As you have seen, quite a bit of construction going on and walls going up. You can see some of the renderings compared to what's there right now. Right, these walls that you see up right now, we will be partially covered once this all facade improvement goes over it. So that's why the renderings differ, but it's basically the same angle. You can see in the rendering the background of the darker colors, which is what's going up right now. Quite a bit of construction. This is close to 50 million total project. Same on this elevation, same rendering versus actual. You can see it starting to take shape. Obviously, there's a lot, the storefront, the ceilings, the roofs, all of that is still happening. But if you go out there, you can see steel flying over you as the steel beams are being installed in that area. A big project for us here in the city is the Southern Pump Station, which was awarded recently by council. This area will provide development opportunities for all this hashed green area. It's quite a bit of the city. It's a huge project for us. And looking forward to this project to start construction hopefully by January, with initial construction and material setting up probably by November, December. So that's another huge project that's transformative in nature for the city of El Centro, bringing opportunities for new growth in this area. Something a little nicer for us here, or just something that we can relate to, is the street signs came up and changed. We changed our standards. Too much music.
I noticed them just recently, just within the last few days.
Yeah, so we've updated our standard, and we've started with our own staff, replacing city signs throughout. So they look different now. Now we incorporate the city logo on them, the block number, and it's just the little things that make our city look better. Now, going back to sidewalks, it's always a huge topic for us, and we listen when council made that request and basically to look at our sidewalk. I'm trying to zoom in and play with this. So we currently have to bid a project that will install quite a bit of sidewalks. So we're talking here about in this 7,700 square feet of new sidewalks. A lot of them are over 50 ramps, if I remember, at corners that will be replaced that either don't have a ADA ramp at the corner, or that the one that they have is really the old style where there's no ramp, it's just a return. So we have three main focus areas for that project, for this project specifically, and they're highlighted here, different parts of town. And generally they connect areas near schools, near parks, where there's a need. That project is ongoing with construction. It's currently out to bid. We're probably getting complete construction by the spring of 2025. So it's coming. And here's some areas, for example, that have no sidewalk, no ramps, which we'll be getting those. And here another curb ramp, but it really is not going anywhere. So we'll be adding sidewalk to those areas. Again, some areas of intersections where there's no curb ramps, there's existing concrete, but there's no access. So we're replacing that, and we're always looking at how to improve ADA wherever we can. This is a great project to that effect, and that's $800,000 in CDBG funding. A big one and exciting one, at least for us here, is Active Transportation Program Cycle 5. This is a grant-funded project that we're matching our Measure D sales tax or gas tax, and here in the county. So we're going to be the first here in the county to have pedestrian hybrid beacons. You'll see them in other areas. This is a picture of on the top here of how those look like. And we're adding them at locations where you see already a crossing for schools and upgrading them. So not only will they'll be changed, for example, the one at DMV, that's one location, where right now instead of a rapid flashing beacon, which is the one style that you see in the bottom, we're upgrading to this type of signal. This signal, what it does, it actually starts flashing a yellow light, advising the traffic to slow down. Then a solid yellow light, basically really slow down, and it goes red. So it forces traffic to stop, as opposed to the current one, which is, please watch out, there's a pedestrian, but it's not an actual stop. So these signals will be added along Imperial Avenue. They'll be coordinated in sync so that they only produce a traffic opening to pedestrians when there's a gap in the traffic flow. Because as we add signals and as we add these types of signals, there's that perception that the flow of traffic will slow down. So this is why we're syncing them so that they fit between platoons of vehicles to allow safe passage for pedestrians. So a lot of change here in Imperial Avenue. Another big signal location for us is at Pepper. Pepper and Imperial, that'll be a full signal light. That's a crosswalk. There's always cross traffic between medical offices and the hospital, as well as turning, moving for the schools. So that'll become actually a signal light. So that project is currently out to bid as well. And we expect construction to be complete probably in the summer of 2025 because of lead times of materials, poles, and computer equipment. As you can see, for Wake of Imperial, it took a while to just get the signal up. And this is mainly a signal project.
Mr. Abraham, thank you so much. I think that's the number one area that we get asked all the time because of the medical offices that are across the street from the hospital. And we've been asked for that signal light, and many are just speeding down Imperial Avenue. Thank you so much for addressing the
Fantastic.
safety of our residents.
Fantastic. So that was 800,000 in CMAQ and ATP funding, and then an additional infusion for a total measure B for a total of about 2.9 million, because this is about three signal lights. A lot of impact here to our community. With that, that concludes my quick update here on major projects happening in El Centro. Obviously, I could keep on going a lot on water and wastewater and a lot of other projects that we're working on. However, these are some highlights that I believe the community can relate to, and they can see where they're at. So with that, I'll take any questions and be here to answer.
Just to congratulate your department for listening to the needs that we're hearing from our residents. It's always great to have the opportunity to see when we can actually see projects that are being completed. So when we get asked questions, we can let them know where they are in the process. Congratulations for the great work to you and your team.
Garcia, any questions or comments for?
Exciting projects. It looks like there's some well-needed upgrades to the city. It looks great. Thank you for all your work.
Eva, do you have any?
Just thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And I just wanted to, comment that, maybe eventually once we complete Imperial Avenue, and then, we move on to some of the other major thoroughfares here in El Centro, like 8th Street and then 4th Street, because, they've all become very heavily trafficked. And so I know I know there's certain areas that are cause for concern when it comes to pedestrian safety. And so that's why, I'm hoping that soon we'll move on to the other thoroughfares. So thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
that.
Campos. Thank you for all the exciting news that you've brought to us this evening, and for all the hard work of you and your team, because this is, again, we are continuously looking at ways to improve the quality of life, for our residents. So for that, we truly appreciate all of your efforts.
We're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you. So, your coffee smells good. All righty. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to item number 10. So we're going back to the public hearings. And so first, I would like to read this. This is a public hearing to consider the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding the approval of the final mitigated negative declaration number 22-03 for General Plan Amendment 22-03 and CR&R Waste Transfer Station Project. So we have a presentation by Mr. Angel Hernandez, our Director of Community Development.
Okay, and just let the council know, this presentation is going to be for items 10 and for item 11.
Okay.
Okay, and I apologize, I have a regular old PowerPoint presentation. No
Oh,
music.
Don't feel left behind, okay? This is,
That's okay.
that's
Joking.
okay. I can relate more to this.
Okay, all right. All right.
Fancy technology there, Mr. Campos.
Innovation,
Yes,
innovation.
Okay, so the project before you is it's a general plan amendment and also the CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act documentation to approve the general plan amendment. It's for the CR&R Waste Transfer Station Facility. This is a project that CR&R has had on the books for several years now. They had acquired property in this area for this purpose. I think for more than 10 years, and they're moving forward with it. So first we're gonna start with the project location. This is the area. It's roughly in the area southeast of Dogwood and Ross. It's about and 8.95 acres. It's outlined in white, so it consists of all those individual lots in that area. Currently, it's vacant. To the north, you have vacant land, also a really large cell phone tower, and surrounding other surrounding uses are contractor storage yards, agricultural land, contractor yards, a lot of like light industrial uses in that area. The current zoning is MG, general manufacturing, and one of the items that we're going to be requesting that the city council approve is an amendment to the general plan, because currently the general plan is inconsistent with the current zoning. So on the right side, the right half of your screen, the map on the top shows you the existing general plan land use, and then the bottom portion shows you what's proposed. I'll go over to more detail about that. So about the project itself. So it consists of a 66,000 square foot transfer station facility building, and that includes offices, break rooms, locker rooms, service space for CR&R to repair the vehicles, and a rather large portion of it is also the actual transfer facility. So what they do is when they pick up the trash, they go in there, they're sorted out, and then it gets sent out to whatever other facility, be a landfill or other recycling facility. Apart from the building, there's also going to be a stormwater detention basins, parking areas for staff vehicles, equipment, and also public parking, a CNG, that's a compressed natural gas facility for their equipment, and a truck scale. Offsite improvements are partial width improvements to this road that has no name yet, that would connect the project site to Ross Road. And those partial width improvements include curb gutter sidewalk, parking, and 2 travel lanes on the west side. Installation of the stop sign at Ross and that road right there, that was a result of a recommendation from the traffic study that was done for the project. Extension of the water and sewer services from Ross Avenue to the south, and some dedication of some additional right-of-way on Arlington Road. So that's that road right here. This is a old right-of-way that was already in that area, that for it to meet city standards, it needs I forgot, like an extra like 5 or 10 feet. So more about the activities. So they're going to be processing municipal solid waste, recyclables, construction, demolition, debris, and green waste. It's going to have a maximum capacity of 575 tons per day, but they anticipate on average to be 500. It would serve both commercial and residential users. They anticipate about 151 trips. That's visitors, staff, trucks. Operations that are going to be occurring at that site are the weighing and recording of all incoming waste, the municipal solid waste being transferred to approved disposal sites within 48 hours. So it's not going to stay there for more than 48 hours. A traffic spotter that will kind of direct traffic as it goes into the facility. And this is a very, they have to follow all of regulations with CalVercycle and also the Imperial County Health Department. And one thing I want to know is a lot of these activities are already occurring in El Centro. They're just occurring in different areas. Right now, their main facility is on 599 East Main Street. That's for, I think, the old Alfred's distribution place, but this is going to be, that's something that they got into. This is going to be a, how do I say this, built for this use. Okay, so about the general plan amendment. So there's a request to change the general plan from general commercial, which is that area in red, to general industrial. Something to note is that when the city updated the general plan in 2022, this area was already before general industrial. It was with that general plan amendment, it was changed to general commercial. And it's because of that we required to do CEQA review. And I'm going to go over some of the comments that we received during the CEQA review. So when we prepare the document showing the potential impacts of the project, we're required to notice public agencies and put a notice to the public. And the public and the agencies have 30 days to comment. So we got 4 comments. The first 2 that I want to highlight are from basically the regulatory agencies that will regulate this project, Cal Recycle and the County Imperial Public Health Department, their Environmental Health Division. Their comments were mostly about like adding more details about the operations. They also rely on this sequence for their own purposes too. They wanted more detail about for example, how many tons of waste was going to be processed there, what type of permits that they would need to secure with those agencies. The other agency that commented was the IID. So this area is located relatively on the edge of the city, and they wanted to ensure that whatever was being built there, that the current IID system could handle it. Otherwise, they weren't sure if they would have to upgrade any transmission lines or electrical infrastructure, which would also have to be analyzed for the CEQA. So after the applicant gave them information, they concluded that that's not required. Some notable comments from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. So this site is located, let's see, adjacent to a somewhat active agricultural field, and those are typically habitats for some species of concern, i.e. the burrowing owl. So they had comments about what type of studies are done, and that required the applicant to go back and perform some studies about the potential habitat loss for certain species. And there's some other mitigation measures that were incorporated. So all mitigation measures that are going to be before you are related to these comments from the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. And these are it is, and it's very comprehensive regarding what needs to be done. This is rather standard comments that are produced by rather standard mitigation measures that are recommended by the state agency, and it includes pre-construction surveys, what to do when there is an owl that's found, training that construction crews need to take to identify these potential habitats or potential species. So public noticing. So this was brought before the city, brought before the Planning Commission on September 10th. At that, before that meeting, we did publish a public hearing notice in the paper. We also mailed out notices to people that own property 300 feet from the site. We also posted a notice at the project site. We only got one comment from the Environmental Health Department, the County Environmental Health Department, and they requested that the environmental document includes some more information about the capacity of this facility, and that was the only comment that we received as to this date. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the project unanimously, and there was no additional comments from the public. And we also have a public hearing set for today, and that was also scheduled. That was also noticed in the paper, and also notices were sent out again to the property owners around that area. And I repeat, we haven't received any comments or anything like that from the public. So with that, staff recommends that the City Council open the public hearing, and after allowing input from all proponents and opponents of the project, that they move forward by taking the following actions. So one is approving the mitigated negative declaration, and the second one approving the general plan amendment. I'm available to answer any questions, and I know we have some representatives joining us in person and I believe on Zoom from CR&R too that can answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay. So at this point, do I allow the representatives to come out, or do I open the public hearing? Okay, alrighty. Okay, so I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item either in chambers or remotely?
No slips, ma'am.
And I do have one public comment that we received via email to our city clerk, and I would like to read that. And this is regarding the proposed solid waste transfer station that we received from Dr. Ray Sinai, and I would like to read his comment. I would like to officially object to the proposed waste station site. Please add this email to the official public record. I own the property at 579 East Ross Road. My property backs into the proposed waste station. In my opinion, such station should be placed outside of city limits. The danger of waste leakages is a major environmental concern. The site is also close to the canal water, which could cause a major disaster. Small businesses are the backbone of the El Centro economy. There are many small businesses in the vicinity of the proposed site. The smell associated with such waste station would negatively affect all businesses in the area. On behalf of myself and all area businesses, I strongly object to placing a waste station in a commercial zone. This will force some businesses to close and move, which will negatively affect El Centro economy. I thank the City Council in advance for their time and careful consideration. So this was, again, respectfully submitted by Dr. Ray Sanai. Okay. So now, since we do not have any additional, comments or questions, then I will now close the public hearing and bring it back now to City Council for any questions or comments by my colleagues.
Yeah, I know. It's coming. No, I've always been a little hesitant when it comes to negative declaration, because I want to make sure that we're being good stewards here in terms of so the doctor that submitted that, I had no idea that was coming or what he was going to say. But as it relates to concerns, right, like as an opportunity to dispel some of the concerns that he may raise as it relates to spillages of chemicals, as it relates to excessive smells in the neighboring, is there anything in your analysis that would perhaps alleviate a neighboring property owner to feel a little better that those things were addressed as you reached a negative declaration?
Sure, and this is the first time I heard about this email, but there was a comment about nearby canals. They're nearby drainage ditches. They're not canals that go into people's crops or anything like that. They're they're not used for human consumption or don't make contact with that with those types of materials. There was a question about the smell. So all the activity is gonna be indoors in that 66,000 square foot facility. It's gonna all happen there. I also pointed out that the maximum time that it could be there, any type of trash. So, and I don't think what else the doctor was saying. And another thing is, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the composition of the existing uses there. You have a lot of contractor yards, storage yards. I wouldn't consider that area. It's planned for general commercial, but I wouldn't consider that area right now like having a lot of commercial uses. And this kind of brought up a potential idea that maybe that this site should be changed back to general industrial, since there's always been these concerns. I know it's been, the general plan has been successful in allowing for instance, the Maverick to open, because that also changed, but something maybe we should consider going back and look at that. I don't know if there's any specific questions you want me to answer that the doctor had, or I don't know if it's yes.
I'm sorry, can we just look at the
I
map
was
again,
just gonna
please,
ask
so
for
that
that.
we can
Okay.
have a better understanding of the businesses that are in the surrounding areas? Can we zoom? I know it's a static picture, but maybe could we get on maybe Google Map that would allow us to see that? How many businesses are we talking about that would be impacted? I guess those are just in addressing the letter that has been submitted.
As you're bringing that up, Angel, if I could say, like, I'm echoing the one dissenting commentary that was brought up. And correct me if I'm wrong, if there was ever a leak, right, it would have to travel quite a ways in order for it to get anywhere near the canal that runs along Dogwood Road, right? I mean, it would have, there's like multiple parcels there.
So There could be handling solid waste. It's not that it could be handling, you know, any type of specific hazardous materials. This is like the trash that take out that leaves our homes or businesses. So I'm not too sure what exactly he means by a leakage. Because that
No,
implies,
and I
that implies
hear
like
you.
there was like some type of like liquid in there.
I hear
Yeah.
you, and that's a great point, that we're not dealing with like hazardous chemicals or, those categories that are given, but just for sake of argument, if there was some sort of leakage, the property owner adjacent to, I'm pretty sure would raise a hand and say there's something, and we would be able to be notified well before it reaches that canal there, right? Like, and this is extremely hypothetical, but my point is, it's not as adjacent to that canal as I'm being led to believe by the commentary that was written.
Correct.
So from what I see here, this is a central drain. Is that what this is referring to?
So he might be referring
Or
to
is
the
this
Dogwood
referring to
Canal.
the Dogwood
Yeah, so
Canal?
that's the actual canal, and there's also this is a branch of the drain. So it's underground over this portion, and over here it opens. So that's I don't know if we were referring to that, but that eventually ends up going to Centro Drain, and I think the Alamo River eventually is Salton Sea.
Salton Sea.
Salton Sea, yeah.
Any more concerns here?
No, maybe to hear from CRNR,
Yeah, I
maybe
know, that's
the
what,
measures that are going to be put in place just to rest,
Yes.
to give us some reassurance.
So do we have a representative from CRNR here to?
Is there someone on Zoom? Dean Ruffridge.
Madam Mayor, if I may, so there's similar uses just north of this particular facility that's being proposed. There is one off of, is it Heil, where there is a sorting facility. These facilities are built to a certain standard. They have their own sumps for collection of water, fluids, liquids like that. And they're pretty sophisticated, right, in the way that they operate. The reason I'm a little bit intimidated with the way they work is they've had fires, right, in those types of facilities in which I've had to respond to in the past. There's truly no smell emanating from the facilities necessarily. And, there's also a current facility that's off of Main Street, right, which is in the Havens and Sons yard area that is similar in nature, right? So as far as any concerns related to, the entrance, right, of any chemicals or any liquids, right, that are associated with basically the processing of these facilities, they have, processes in place to make sure that it does not enter into the water systems or even into the groundwater in the areas, in particular for collecting the fluids.
Just another point that was included environmental. So they're going to be washing vehicles and things like that, and they would be required to submit a pre-treatment plan. So essentially, they would submit information to the Public Works Department, what type of materials, what type of chemicals are used to wash the vehicles. They take into consideration like what the vehicles are, and we develop a system so that they pre-treat that water if that's required. If it's warranted before it enters into any other storm sewer or storm drain system. Yeah. I don't know if you could explain kind of the process of like the sorting.
Good evening.
Good evening, guys. So it's a transfer station. So we're just bringing in materials, transferring them from one vessel to another, technically. But I think he might be confused with like what a landfill would be, where you dump materials into the ground and, they don't have the proper lineage and things like that. And to Angel's point, the materials are 48 hours max. We're trying to get it out as soon as possible. So the 48 hours allows, us to get the materials out without it, having any issues. And to the city manager's point, we're located in El Centro right now. We don't have too many complaints. So,
And this would be an enclosed facility, would it be similar to what you have on East Main?
From
or-
from my knowledge, it's a pretty large facility, kind of an open facility to get vehicles in and out, to,
Oh, okay.
put the materials down, and transfer them to another vessel, so.
Good evening, Victor Carrillo with CRNR. This has been a process that's been in the years in the making. There's a lot of state and environmental requirements and standards, as your city manager was alluding to, that have to be followed, that are currently followed at the transfer station at the former Alfred's distributor, beer distributorship on East Main, where we have neighbors next, et cetera. It's not a landfill. The state is requiring the counties to close their landfills by the year 2035. The county of Imperial, of their 13 landfills, 3 of them are federal. The only one fully operating is the Imperial landfill behind IVC that's operated by Republic. The others, like the Calexico landfill, the East Hopeville landfill, et cetera, and others are operated once a week for specific purposes for the people that live out in that area, where they can take their items in that haven't been picked up in the unincorporated areas. This will be a transfer station that'll be the state of the art. We'll be closing, once it's completed, we'll be closing the East Main and the Dogwood transfer stations. We currently, like Republic does, but we currently have our landfill in South Yuma County that we take our collection after it's been weighed and separated and weighed and tabulated so that Matt can do the reporting to protect the cities that are under contract with CRNR. And so that's why that 48 requirement is in, that it has to be transferred out within the 48 hours. And so it'll be a beautiful upgrade and improvement to what we currently have. It'll be a state-of-the-art, just like your library on Imperial Avenue. It'll be a modern facility, and it satisfies Cal OSHA, Cal Recycle, and the Environmental Health Department of the County of Imperial that have closely regulated the planning and the negative declaration. I know that you don't like negative decks, but a majority of the projects come under that umbrella instead of having to do a blown out environmental impact report type of thing. And usually the typical obstacle is the burrowing out, whether you're having a residential development in what was former agricultural land, converted into rezoned, et cetera. And so all the developers, all the builders, all the engineers and what have you, and the environmental engineers are all cognizant of that. And so they bring in somebody from Fish and Game so that they can monitor when the burrowing owl will be mating and what have you. So those issues have always been addressed, and with a fine-tooth comb, particularly here in the desert southwest portion of the state, which we know is Imperial County. So to answer the concerns, the area will be fully paved, so it's not going to be like there'll be leakage into the asphalt or the cement, where it would go into the groundwater type of thing. But the ditches, that's for agricultural runoff from the adjacent fields, and those are usually pretty empty because there hasn't been any agriculture, anything grown out in those fields, because those owners have been following the fallowing program to offset the water.
Water transfer.
Right, exactly. I'm sorry.
So, Madam Mayor, my line of questioning was to kind of weigh in my mind whether or not the doctor or any other resident's concerns would be within the realm of legitimacy, or whether it's just NIMBYism, right?
No,
And I think
all the concerns are are legitimate and whether it was done in the time frame of the public hearings over the last 2 years that, and as we've been going step by step, addressing those concerns, getting back on the off ramp and back on the freeway of completion for this project. It's been 10 years in the making, type of thing. So I believe CR&R and their engineering department have dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, et cetera, to get it to this point. I will note that it was unanimously passed by your planning commission, and hopefully we can receive that support so that we can do this, so that we can continue providing the excellent service in the future and meet the state mandates on the quality of impact on the environment for our state, which California has been a leader nationwide. So, thank you.
Mr. Garcia, any questions, comments? No. Any further? Oh, Mr. Campos, yes.
If I may add, it's just that I believe there's a confusion on the operation here. So of what's happening here, as mentioned, it's not a landfill, so nothing's staying or going. You can think of it as a fancy warehouse. You have the trucks come in inside, and they'll transfer to another vessel and go. So that's the 48 hours that was discussed. This all happens inside, so that addresses the smell issue. There's very similar. Republic has a similar one in town. CRN already has one in adjacent areas that are more developed at this area for businesses, and we have, at least we at here Public Works, we have received no complaints regarding the water or contamination. As mentioned, again, this is indoors. The city manager mentioned there's systems already in place. Should there be rainwater for whatever reason exiting the site through a grading permit, has a known detention basin, so it will stay on site before it even gets anywhere close to the central drain. So there's various measures of protection already in place the way it is. So I just wanted to make sure that we point out that fact, that it's not a landfill. Everything happens indoors. Trucks go in, material is transferred, trucks go out.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. So on that note, Fernandez, were you going to add something else, or?
Just that I was confirming with the representative of CRNR, there's no chemicals that are applied. Everything's a manual mechanical sorting. We have also sent out notices regarding this project, I think back in December of last year. We didn't also to the property owners around that area. We didn't receive any comments. We only received comments from those 4 state agencies and 2 state agencies and the other agencies that responded.
All righty, gentlemen. Well, thank you for the explanations and the reassurance there. So I will now act on this item. Okay, so may I get a motion?
So move.
And a second, please?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, will you please?
Councilmember Carter, absent. Councilmember Oliva?
Can I ask a clarification? So this is one action for both items?
No, this is
Just the
item
first
number
one,
10.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, because we'll go on to 11, even though it's related.
I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to hold it up. Yes.
Councilmember Garcia?
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh?
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, so then we adopt resolution number 24-75, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro adopting mitigated negative declaration with mitigation monitoring and reporting program for CR&R Waste Transfer Facility General Plan Amendment 22-03, consisting of approximately 8.95 acres of land located approximately 1,125 linear feet east of the southeast corner of Dogwood Avenue and Ross Avenue. Alrighty. So now we move on to item number 11, a public hearing to consider the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding the approval of General Plan Amendment 22-03 for the CR&R Waste Transfer Station. And again, we have a presentation by community. Have you already covered this part?
Yeah.
Okay, already. So then I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone either in chambers or remotely?
Mayor, they're already open. You open both of them at the
Did
same
it?
time?
You just need the resolution.
We just need to adopt the resolution.
Okay. So then I guess I'm asking for a motion And
So
a
moved,
second to.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, so, and can I get
Motion.
A second.
a second, please?
Second.
Councilmember Carter, absent. Councilmember Oliva,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, so that's adoption of resolution number 24-76, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving general plan amendment 22-03, changing the land use designation from general commercial to general industrial for property located 1,125 linear feet east of the southeast corner of Dogwood Avenue and Ross Avenue, and declaring the same to be the first general plan amendment for calendar year 2024. Okay. So now we will move on to item number 12, the reallocation of America Rescue Plan expenditures. And we have a presentation by Ms. Elizabeth Wuchen, the interim finance director.
I'm with you, Angel. Still old school, PowerPoint. But keeping the with Mr. Andy Heath, so I'm here with good news. As lately with finance department, so I'm here with money to expand. So that's a good
Hey.
news.
That's a great way to start this
Yes.
presentation.
Money to expand, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
good night, Madam Mayor and City Council members. The item I bring before you is a request for the reallocation of previously approved ARPA funds. The American Rescue Plan Act, which established the coronavirus state, local, and fiscal recovery funds, was signed into law on March 2011. March 11, 2021. A recipient of ARPA funds may only use funds to cover units in cost incurred during the period of March 3, 2021, and ending on December 31st, 2024. So that's why I'm here. Funds encumbered during this period must be expended by the end of December 2026. As you may remember, the City of El Centro was allocated with $14,095,734. With this funding, the City Council of City of El Centro approved a total of 59 projects, of which 52 have been completed. And here in this table, you can see the categories, how we allocated as a beginning and how we are as of today. So under the category of revenue loss, government services, 43 projects approved, $5,461,977. That was the total cost allocated. For public health and emergency response, 11 projects. The cost of those projects is $933,757. And the water and sewer infrastructure, 5 projects as a total with $7,700,000. So as of today, under the revenue loss and government services, 41 of the 43 projects under revenue loss government services have been fully completed with a cost of $1,563,430. We have in 2 categories, we have projects in process. That is under revenue and loss government. We have 1 project in process. That's the cleaning of service contract. We allocated a total of $195,000. As of today, we have expended $103,362, but we are expected to to expend the remaining $91,000. Under water and wastewater, some of the projects were presented by Abraham, so those are big projects. That's why we're still under in progress. So, but we are expected to expend the allocated amount before the December 2026 to comply with the deadline. So we don't have to return any funds. We're going to expend the full amount. But then on the revenue loss and government services, if you see the column that says not committed, we have $3,725,000 to 34 that were allocated. So where this money come from? Well, you can hear. And before I go to the next slide, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to the public health and emergency response. So for the 11 projects that were all approved for a total of 933,000, we fully complete all 11 projects, and the cost of those projects was 727,000. So we have a savings over there. So we have a $206,000 in savings. So on December 2021, the city staff approached the city council with a request to reallocate 8 capital projects originally allocated for ARPA funding and to be moved to Measure P. On this table, you can see the 8 projects. Of those projects, the only ones that still not completed are the ADA improvements. The other request has been purchased already with using Measure P funds. So, but these ADA improvements are planned to be done probably next fiscal year, 2026, Abraham? Yeah. That's what I expected, but those are going to be funded with Measure P. So taking in consideration this $3,725,000, 234. This were decided to keep it here on ARPA funds to fund future revenue loss and government services expenses projected in the city general fund for the upcoming years. So if we add the $3,725,000 plus what we have in savings, that is a total of $184,000. So we have a total committed of $3,909,000 that we need to expend or commit by the end of this calendar year, meaning December 31st, 2024. So a meeting was held with the city manager and department heads to reprioritize these projects. We have all come together to look at the needs of our community and our departments. And the list that follows are the recommended reallocation of ARPA funds we prepare for the city council to consideration. So number 1, we have the purchase of, let's summarize on fire truck. I don't understand exactly all the specifications, but I have a picture if you want to see it. So that's for the fire department. There's a $1,500,000. Second, we have a request for the police department, purchase of in-car and body cameras and system. The total of that project is $1,200,000. The difference will be covered for general fund. In the future, we're going to come with that item to be approved. Then again, police is in need for 5 police services and 2 general service vehicles. The cost of those vehicles is $740,000. The next request is for human resources, and that is going to be for employees. It's a one-time 3% salary-based payment to the following bargaining units. Is for the Police Officers Association, included surgeons and police dispatchers, Firefighters Association, general employees, supervisory, professional, and technician employees, and unrepresented and contract employees. So we just confirm with our consultant, and the expected cost of that 3% is $505,000, $550,000, sorry. There's another request for Human Resources. It's a compensatory salary study. The cost of that study is $100,000. And the last but not least request is for Community Service Department. They want to improve one of the special events that they host is the Christmas tree lighting. And they want to purchase a new Christmas tree, decorations, ornaments, and things needed for that really special event that we host here in the city. The total cost they are anticipated is $100,000. So adding all this request, we get a total of $3,910,000 that we're presenting for you for consider to approve this. So in conclusion, it's imperative for the city to commit ARPA funds at this time to meet the expenditure deadline and address the needs of our community and departments. So the city staff recommends that the proposed ARPA expenditures be approved as presented. And we're open for questions that you might have.
I think I just have a quick question, just for transparency.
If you would go back to the list of, okay. Oh, no, the other one.
For me, Liz, if you could just please show me where we decided to use Measure P funding to pay for those items that then freed up some of that ARPA funding. So I just want to show the record, right? Where it was originally ARPA, it became Measure P, freed up some of the ARPA funding, and now what we're looking at those recommendations to take place.
If you hear on the first category, revenue loss and government services,
Yes.
those 3,725,000 were allocated over there. Those are part of the 5 million that we can allocate. So that was approved on September 2021. And a couple of months after, on December 2021, is when the staff come to City Council in order to free those funds, because Measure P, the purpose of Measure P was to cover or to help the city with capital items. So they decided, let's free this money from ARPA funds that can be used to other things, and we just move these items to Measure P. That's the nature. I mean the nature of Measure P.
And I just wanted that to have clarity and to show transparency in how those decisions are being made. That's why I was asking. Thank you, Liz, for walking us through that.
Yes, and as I commented to you, those were purchased with Measure P that same fiscal year. The only ones that's still pending are the three items, the first three items, the ADI improvements. Those are the only ones. But just because we need a lot of staff and manpower to do this improvement, so we are expected to have it done for next fiscal year. So we are pushing it for one more fiscal year.
Great. And then will you take us to the slide just again for clarity that we're taking a look at based on the recommendations made by our city staff and the categories that are being discussed. So the very last slide.
Yeah.
With the breakdown, please.
This one?
One more, please.
Oh, here.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Those are just my comments, Madam Mayor, as I'm looking at this. Thank you.
Questions or comments?
No, I'm good.
You good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Garcia? No questions?
You got nervous.
Pardon?
The officers in the back got nervous.
You know, I think if I can, Madam Mayor, staff they know what they need in their departments.
Yeah.
And they know what needs to be utilized to be able to provide the services to our residents. As we take a look at this breakdown, we want to make sure that we're equipping our city staff with the equipment and all the necessary items they need to ensure that we continue to have our quality of life.
And, we're fortunate to have these ARPA funds that we can do this with, instead of having to, you know, hit the general fund, for lack of a better
Exactly.
term.
Exactly. And if
Yeah.
you see the three biggest tickets, the 1 million, the 920 and the 740 is for the good of the community. So it's for our police department and for fire department.
Mhm. And the one-time 3% salary, when would that take effect, if we were to approve all of this?
This is probably, I don't know if Betsy have more information about. So this is to delay the negotiations.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is for, I'm sorry, I
So
missed that
Are we
part.
talking about next calendar year?
No,
Also?
this is in order to delay the negotiations up to 1 year. So that's why the city wants to offer this 3% to those bargain
The
groups.
bargaining units, yes.
This bargain unit.
And Liz has explained to me that assuming this is approved by the council, then there'll be a process where she can process checks in about 2 weeks. So generally, the checks would come out in December.
Yes.
Would you?
Yes, we ask in case that you agree to this item. So we just request 2 weeks on the finance department to prepare the checks. And if you don't mind, if it's a non-payroll week, that will be great.
Sorry. Hello. Just to clarify, we do need to meet and confer. This is just the approval of the money, the allocation portion, but we still have to meet with the bargaining units and get the agreement in order to get that extension of the
And I
contract.
was going in that direction too,
Yes.
because.
There have been initial meetings with police and fire.
Yes.
So the
and
remaining
general-
bargaining
a
units.
couple other units.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we're already working with the
Okay,
group. Okay.
alrighty, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to move forward with a new recommendation for the reallocation of the ARPA funding.
Okay.
Second.
And Councilmember Garcia seconded that motion?
Councilmember Carter, absent. Councilmember Oliva,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mrs. Dixon. Right, so now we will then
Would you
go
like
on to
to-
item number 12A, which was moved from the consent agenda. So this is, excuse me,
This is,
appointment of the interim finance director contract with Andy Heath.
we're passing out to you the redlined page and then a complete copy of this agreement. This is something that Dulcie and I worked on together. It is the extension of Patrick Heath's agreement.
Andy Heath.
Andy, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Patrick and the bargaining. It's an extension of Andy Heath's agreement. He's run out of the initial $50,000 in his contract. The rate is the same. I apologize, it got left out. I was waiting for him to send me Exhibit A, and he was waiting for me to put the rate into the contract, which I did do. The $175 remains the same. If he works the number of hours that contemplated by the contract, maybe slightly more than now, it would be approximately $100,000 a year. He carries all of the cost of taxes, et cetera. There's no benefits provided. He will have the title, along with others, of interim finance director, which allows him to do slightly more things. This item has been coordinated with finance staff, et cetera. I can answer questions, or Dulcie, I hope, can answer questions. Or she can stand there.
Yeah, I just noticed something on Exhibit A, the last page, and I know that this was signed back in July by Andy, but my first name is misspelled on here.
It is, and there will be
Will that be corrected?
it will be corrected.
Okay, thank you.
It was confusing for a variety of reasons.
Why?
Human error, and Dulcie is not the human who caused the error.
Okay. I just want to make sure that that gets corrected.
All will be corrected when it's finalized.
All right.
So
It
just
is,
for
it is
clarity,
essentially the same agreement as you saw before.
Yes.
so just for clarity, as we're reading this, I'm reading this for the first time. This contract we're looking at, it commencing October the 15th of 2024 and to continue in effect no later than December the 31st, correct?
Of next year.
Of
Next of
2025. Yes, I'm
2025.
sorry.
Mhm.
With a clear understanding that this can be amended, terminated, changed at any time.
Was the cap amount stated? Because I know what the rate, the hourly rate is, but is there a,
I did not put in a cap amount because this was going to be approved by the council. The last one was approved by the city manager, which is one reason this amendment is needed, because you ran up on the $50,000. If you would like to cap it, we certainly can include that.
I'd like to cap it to the salary of what's listed as what the finance director would earn. And that would be the cap. So as to not exceed that
Okay.
amount.
Okay,
Good point.
so maybe about 112,000?
Maybe 135
Okay.
or so.
So
around there.
that's about 1 year and a little bit. That should work well.
As long as whatever's budgeted for that amount, it's to not exceed that within the fiscal year.
Okay, that works.
All right. Is that any questions?
Finance is
comments?
asking if with benefits or without benefits. The cap.
Without benefits.
That would be the base, right? So plus benefits. Well, no, he doesn't get benefits.
Right, so it's the base rate
Yeah, it's the
without
base.
benefits.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you. That's a finance director, right? Finance person.
All right, Madam Mayor, I
and
make a motion if there is no other input.
Yes,
Make a motion.
and I will
sorry.
second the motion.
Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so now we move on to item number 13, Military Equipment Use Ordinance 2024. And we have a presentation by our Chief of Police, Mr. Robert Sawyer. Oh, I guess it's Deputy.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I will be filling in for Chief.
Okay,
So what you have before you tonight, and I apologize, I don't have any presentations or slideshows, but I'm not here to ask for money either. So what you have before you tonight is both the department's annual military equipment use report and the related ordinance. As you're aware, Government Code Section 7072 requires that the police department on an annual basis report to you when we acquire new military equipment or the use of that military equipment. So for the sake of brevity, I will keep it short to what the changes are from last year. So this year, we've acquired 2 brand new drones. They are the Skydio X10 drones. As you are aware, we have implemented our drone program, most notably probably in the last 2 to 3 months that we've seen an increase in actual use of the drones. The drones are, in those 2 to 3 months, what we've been able to do is a total of 8 deployments for law enforcement purposes and 1 deployment for a community outreach through social media. So as part of this program, we have identified 7 officers to be pilots, and those 5 of those 7 officers have successfully passed the Part 107 certification to become pilots. So that's quite an accomplishment. It's, from what I understand, a very difficult test and course because you're flying these, equipment up in the air that could interfere. So these drones, as Chief had committed to the council years ago, these drones were not purchased with general funds. They were purchased with supplemental law enforcement service funds, SLEF funds. We will be talking about that here in a few minutes as well. So there was no cost to the city. These funds are designed for this purpose. So Additionally to the drones, the only other addition is the acquisition of new patrol rifles. As you'll recall, in December of last year, when Lieutenant Messick stood before you, he talked about the department's need to purchase 30 new patrol rifles to replace outdated, old and aging rifles that were beyond their service time. So after doing a more comprehensive evaluation of our current equipment, we found that this was not an accurate number, that we only needed 26. So we utilized funds from the same funding source, so no cost to the general fund to purchase those new rifles. You'll see in the report, it talks about we've taken possession of 15 of those rifles already. 11 are, it's stated in the report that we are waiting on those. We've actually taken possession of those as of the last couple of weeks. They have not been issued to officers yet. So part of the government code requires that we have a community meeting, and that was within 30 days of today. That was accomplished on October 2nd. September 27th, we posted it as required by government code, the report to our website. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions if you have anything specific about the report.
Any questions or comments from my colleagues?
For me.
So we move on to, and this is one that we need to approve, so can I get a motion?
It needs a motion and a second. And a
Yes,
vote.
and Councilmember Garcia moved.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Oliva.
Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva?
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia?
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh?
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. And we move on to item number 14, which is the 2022-23 Citizen Option for Public Safety Program Grant. And so do we actually have the chief up here?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of
Quick
council.
change artists, you know, so.
I had the deputy chief do the heavy lifting and report that policy and progress that we've made over the last 12 months for the military program equipment as specified by code. Tonight, I'm here to ask for the acceptance of money. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for us to be able to accept money in place of the COPS grant. So that's always good news when we're getting money. We're not asking for it. The COPS money is used for many, many resources throughout the program. It funds one of our community service officers. It pays for their uniform allowance, as you'll see in the breakdown of costs in your packet tonight. It also provides monies for law enforcement agencies such as ours to be able to purchase frontline police equipment. And you heard an example of how we've used that in the last 12 months, the purchase of 2 unmanned aerial surveillance units or drones, if you will, and the replacement of some very aged and worn out patrol rifles that we need for the safety of our officers and public. Tonight, the total grant funds that we're looking to accept are $197,033.02. The breakdown for that is listed in your packet, and I'm happy to discuss any questions you may have or any expenditures associated with these funds.
Questions or comments?
No, I just would like to make the motion to approve item number 14.
Alrighty. So we have motion by Councilmember Oliva, second by interim mayor. Okay.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Me.
Oh, okay. Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva?
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia?
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh?
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thanks. If I may just real briefly, I've not forgot about our commitment to come back and report to council on the drone program at a 6-month mark. So we'll be back to you to report about our deployments, success stories, and any issues that may have arisen, including citizen complaints. To date, we've had none. We don't anticipate any, but I do remember our conversation.
I'm gonna walk around and go tap your shoulder.
No, we're on task with that. And if you join us at our next Coffee with a Cop, which will be announced very soon, we may have one of those flying for social media purposes out there to be able to take a look at them for the public to see, because it is really for public safety. We want them to be able to come out and touch, look, and see what we use in the field. Thank you for allowing me to divulge that.
Thank you.
Okey-doke. So now we move on to item number 15, which is a community sponsorship request, the cheerleading team. And I know that we have a representative here from Central Union High School, is that correct? Miss Gabby Robb?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I am here with my captains, Angel Panyawa and Giovanni Calamigos. They prepared a little something to say to you.
Oh,
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Angel Paniawa.
I'm Giovanni. We are the captains of the Central Union varsity cheer team. We are here to represent our competition team. We are working hard this year to qualify for both USA Nationals in Anaheim and UCA Nationals in Orlando, Florida. And we are previous CIF regional champions and CIF state champions
Wow.
in the co-ed non-tumbling advanced division, making us the first team in Central Union history to win state.
wow.
Yay, congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We would
Wow.
love to take this. We would love to have the opportunity to become USA and UCA national champions, as well as with the help from the city of El Centro. This would be Centro's first year competing in UCA national, being hosted in Florida. The cost of our entire team would be around $50,000 for both competitions, and we would greatly appreciate if the city of El Centro could sponsor $13,000. This would greatly benefit our team and help us lead to success.
Well, this is where I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Cedric Cesenia, our city manager, to,
So I thought a cheer with some high kicks would have been great, but I will say, unfortunately, right, our community sponsorship fund is not that big. The recommended amount for tonight that is being presented to assist you guys in getting there is a amount of $500. And as you already heard, these dollars are going to go towards competition fees, travel, and lodging for the team.
oh, sorry, we couldn't meet your full request, but every little bit helps.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you so
So
much.
thank you, and thank you for waiting. You know, this is congratulations. You know, I'm a Central graduate, and so are my colleagues here. Mr. Garcia went to school in another area, but you know, make us proud, put us on the map. Okay. Thank you so much, and you already have. So thank you so much. Okay,
you
and good
so
luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have to vote on
I
it?
need a vote on this item.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd
Okay.
like to
so-
move the approval of item number 15.
Councilmember absent. Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva.
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia. Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh.
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank
Okay,
you. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for making us so proud.
All righty. So now we move on to item number 16, a community sponsorship for Dancing for a Dream Foundation. And Mr.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to share that Angie Pena, who is the director, apologized. She had to leave
yes.
as they're prepping for the event and they had practice. So she just asked me to convey the message to
Oh,
you.
okay.
That's why she had left the
Okay, yeah, I
audience.
looked around and I didn't see her. So, Mr. Cedric Cesenia, were you just going to say a few words about this?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
So obviously, as you know, the gala normally funds local children with medical needs, offering support for essential services like food and transportation. This year's sponsorship amount being recommended is $950 and is presented before you for consideration.
Okay. All righty. So I would like to make the motion to approve.
I second, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva.
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia.
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh.
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
And we move on now to item number 17, ratify a letter of support for the Working Hands Program, T-Mobile Hometown Grants. And we have a presentation by our city manager, Mr. Cedric Cesenia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the letters before you for ratification of the body, as you mentioned, the Working Hands Program, which now is in full swing and operational, has submitted an application to T-Mobile for the Hometowns Grants Program. Their goal is to actually help with paying some of the additional costs for supplies and essential necessary equipment that they need for improved safety for the program here in Centro. So the letter of support was submitted on September 30th on deadline.
Alrighty, so I would like to make the motion to approve, please.
So move.
Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva?
Wait, I'm confused.
It's,
Was the motion seconded by Ms. Cardenas Singh?
Yes.
Or was it made by Ms. Cardenas Singh?
it was seconded.
It was
Oh, I'm
second.
sorry, I misunderstood.
second,
I thought I had
Oh.
moved it. I'm sorry,
Mayor
it is my
Marroquin
fault.
made the motion.
Yes.
and-
So I'll second.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Okay. Then for Oliva, yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0.
thank you. And we move on to item number 18, ratify letter of support for the Cal Recycle Beverage Container Recycling Grant Program. Another presentation by Mr. Cedric Cesena, our city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This letter of support is presented again for your ratification as a body. This letter was submitted on September 30th to IVRMA, and the letter basically supports their application for a focus on regional waste reduction in Imperial County, and is presented before you for approval as a body.
Okay, alrighty. And may I get a motion to approve, please?
I'll move item number 18 for approval.
And a second? So I will second that.
Councilmember Carter absent. Councilmember Oliva?
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia, Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh,
Yes.
Mayor Marroquin.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. And we move on to item number 19, the delegate for the upcoming National League of Cities annual business meeting. And we have just one council member that is attending, and she is not present this evening. Yes, can we continue that for the next meeting, please?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Alrighty. Oh, you're going to? Okay, yeah, let's continue it then. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so then we now move on to task force reports by council members and the mayor. Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas Singh, would you like to?
Yes, just a couple of items. For the sake of time, just had the opportunity to attend the Halloween activity that took place at the library. It was a great event. It just amazes me, one, on the amount of attendees, two, the quality of the costumes that are put together by our beautiful children, and three, it was just decorated. You know, when the library first opened, I thought that our community room was so huge, and how would we ever fill it? I think we've already outgrown it. But thank you to the staff. It was a wonderful event. It was great to participate in the Halloween costume contest. That one's always a hard decision to make. It was great. Families were happy and really enjoyed it. Had the opportunity to attend Farmer of the Year. That was the first time I participated, and it was just amazing to hear the conservation efforts, water conservation efforts that are made by our farming and ag community. So it was just a great event to attend. The other event that I got to attend was our superhero theme for our senior day. Just a great opportunity to celebrate our seniors. I think most of all is the opportunity for them to receive resources. I think that's great. Adriana, congratulations to your team for always making everyone feel so special and welcome. Gus did an amazing job at moving things along. So it was a great event, and happy to see our seniors being celebrated. That is the end of my report. Thank you.
Councilmember Oliva?
You know, I had several things since we last met, but I will try to brush right through them. So I was fortunate enough to attend a Latin and Indigenous Health Policy Summit in downtown LA, where I heard Dr. Hayes Bautista, who's a renowned researcher from UCLA Health, talk about the 2024 Latino GDP report. And so what he essentially was presenting was, if you took all of United States Latinos and grouped them as if they were their own state, put them against political states like the United States, Mexico, in terms of GDP, and what our strength is as Latinos for GDP. And if we were our own state, we would be the 5th largest GDP producer in the world. And I think it's even number 2 in terms of growth. And the purpose of all of this was because he was trying to present the intersectionality of our strength within the economy and our health issues. And presenting that you would think that if you are ill or if your health was not as great, then you would not go to work. But that doesn't seem to be the case within the Latino community, that we show up to work whether or not we're healthy or unhealthy. And that may lie in with our strength within the economy, but it affects us in terms of mortality and longevity of health, right? So take that for what it is. And it was a very fascinating report. So you can look it up. It's a 2024 Latino GDP report, which I thought was very interesting. And the reason why I highlight that was because then last week, I spent pretty much the entire week in Sacramento for the California Economic Summit. And I was, able to hear the governor talk about the economy and California's emerging industries, as well as an opportunity to speak with former Secretary of HUD, Julian Castro. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because even him, a former administrative cabinet member from Texas, mentioned to me that he was very disappointed in the way the County of Imperial had allocated the lithium extraction tax plan that they have, which to me says volumes. And I have wanted to wait to see what the county was going to do and if they were going to kind of change course. But I will tell you that I'm very disappointed in the way that they presented what that lithium extraction tax was going to be, because we had always said that those monies were not supposed to be meant primarily to benefit the residents of El Centro. And I'm sorry to say this, but it was meant to benefit first and foremost the communities located directly and adjacent to that lithium extraction. And I felt that the plan that they presented prioritized population over proximity.
Agree.
And that is the issue, right? And so in this world, in this time where you see something, you hear something, and then you spend a lot of time questioning and wondering to yourself, did I just see that? Did I just hear that, right? I think that it's time that we ask ourselves, right, where we stand in terms of equity and justice when it comes to our most impoverished communities, now having to be told you're going to share that money with El Centro, with Imperial, and with all these other communities, right, as it relates to that. So, aside from that, I'll stop there on my soapbox. But immediately after speaking to him, I was fortunate enough to also speak to Assistant HUD Secretary Elizabeth De Leon, who was also present to talk about homelessness and to talk about and highlight our Lotus Living project. And she highlighted that that HUD has recently released tens of millions of dollars for youth homeless projects. And so she highlighted a few for me that I'm still doing my homework on and would love to share with you, Madam Mayor. But I thought those were very fruitful. I invited them to come to Imperial County to see if they ever get to come out here. But I know that Julian Castro would most likely take us up on that offer, as well as the Assistant Secretary. Pride was held this weekend, and I think Rosa Diaz did a phenomenal job in hosting. I just also bringing it up to thank our Parks and Recreation staff who were there to set up and also to take down. You guys do an amazing job. Thank you again for being good stewards in the community. And from last Friday to this Monday, been meeting a lot with IVHD and ECRMC staff as we move forward in those conversations.
Councilmember Garcia.
Yes, I had the great opportunity to attend the ribbon cutting for the Jacaranda Apartments right across from First Responders Park. I know my colleagues were there as well. That was a very wonderful project to see come into our city. I think it's going to really tie up that area, especially now that coupled with Abraham's report on what is going on in terms of the street improvements there. I think it's really going to change the face of how that area looks for all of us for years to come. I also attended an ex parte hearing, which is an emergency hearing for an injunction between IVHD and PMHD. It reminded me very, very clearly that this fight is not over. Something that we've been dealing with since November of 2023. It's an issue that is going to keep coming up, and we need to keep working diligently at it, because I still believe, like I did at the beginning when we started this, that the only way we're going to have comparable healthcare and growth in our entire community, that's the whole county, is for all of our health services to be joined under AB 918. So there is still some pushback, but hopefully that'll be litigated soon, and we'll be keeping an eye on that. The next hearings are on October 24th, so that's something I'll be keeping an eye on. I wasn't going to mention the county lithium tax, but I feel that I have to now. I have a differing opinion. I do agree with my colleagues that tax money should go to help the impoverished areas that are close to the project. But I think that we should all be reminded that when those projects do finally come to fruition, the people that are going to be employed there statistically are going to want to live in the larger population zones. They're going to use our resources. They're going to use our public safety. They're going to come here to shop, and it's going to have the potential of inundating some of our services. So I think that we possibly will see a population growth, and especially with the expansion south. And with that, we should definitely be sharing in what the county is going to be reaping from those types of projects. If the populations are centered in El Centro and Imperial, if the workers live here, if the housing gets built here, and they're using our fire services, our police services, if they're using our city services, we cannot sustain that type of growth without some sort of assistance. And that's the whole purpose of Lithium Valley, is to make sure that everybody is compensated for the natural resource that's in the county. But we also have to take into account the population source. I mean, yes, I'd love to have people build up Calapat, Nyland, and things of that nature, but I wasn't elected to represent them. I was elected to represent the people of El Centro, and I think they're going to want to come live here because this is where all the shopping is. Until the infrastructure is built up in those areas, then that's a discussion for later. But for now, my concerns will be here with these residents.
Thank you. Alrighty, so let's see. So as Councilmember Garcia mentioned, we were at many of the same events, but I also was had the honor to speak at Honor Health Services held their second graduation ceremony. They have an LVN program, and they graduated a group of probably approximately 25 individuals. And so, you know, that addresses a dire need of nurses that we have here, and hopefully they will then be go on to become registered nurses. So very honored to have participated in that. I too was, you know, asked to be a speaker at the Pride event at Buckland Park this past Saturday, and so I think I missed you there. We didn't cross paths, and so let's see, supported Mana Las Primeras, and I attended that event. And last week I was at the California JPIA Risk Management Conference. And this evening, as soon as we adjourn this meeting, we will be heading out to the League of California Cities annual conference, and we should be back in town Friday evening. So I would also like to mention that the Aquatic Center will be celebrating its 5th anniversary, and they're celebrating with their 4th annual floating pumpkin patch. And I've been going to that event since the inception, and it's always a lot of fun. So it'll be held from 12 to 3 p.m. this Saturday. We'll have a DJ, food vendors on site. Activities will include pumpkin crafting stations, carnival games, mystery pumpkin hunt. So make sure that you join us for that event this coming Saturday. The weather is getting a lot better, so it should be a nice event. Then we also have Trunk or Treat on October the 25th. It will be held at Stark Field from 6 to 9 p.m. that evening. We'll have hay rides, a Trail of Terror, costume runway contest, inflatable costume dance-off, and so much more. And so I would also like to invite you to my State of the City address, which will be held on Tuesday, October the 29th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the El Centro Library in the community room. That room is sure getting a lot of use. And then we also would like to invite you to our Dia de los Muertos celebration from 5 to 9 p.m. On November the 1st at our downtown square park. Okay, so, and I'll move it on to our city manager, Mr. Cedric Cesenia.
Madam Mayor, thank you. I just want to recognize that earlier today, we had the city family grow by one additional, kind of, but not really. And the reason I say that is we had one of our dispatchers lateral into police officer. So we lost a dispatcher, but gained an officer. So Iran Sandoval Celis got sworn in this morning as a peace
Great.
officer for the city of El Centro.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations to her. That's it.
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 8:07 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.
85.
Have a good evening.
85. Are you leaving? That's not too bad.